Thanks for coming to the HyNet Northwest talk. My name's Dave Briggs. I'm a contract manager. I work for Cadent Gas. For those that don't know a little bit about Cadent, so we're the UK's largest gas distribution company. We operate in five networks: so West Midlands, East Anglia, East Midlands, North London, and then here in the Northwest. We bring gas to approximately 11 million customers throughout those networks. But today I'm here to talk to you about one of our projects in the Northwest, which is HyNet. So HyNet is the UK's leading decarbonisation project. Our aim is from 2026 onwards to produce, store and distribute low carbon hydrogen in the Northwest region, ultimately to replace natural gas. We will also capture, store carbon dioxide emissions from the hydrogen production, but as well as industries in the Northwest as well. And it will hopefully deliver growth and investment here to the Northwest. So this is going to be, it's kind of a whistle stop tour. I'm not technical by any means, so don't ask me any technical questions. I'll just put that out there. So HyNet is a consortium-led project. It's with 10 partners, as you can see there on the screen. As you see, we've got Progressive Energy, University of Leicester, Innovi and SR, just to name a few. But we're all working collaboratively to bring HyNet here to the Northwest. I don't know if anybody saw Sally's presentation earlier, but this is just as well as HyNet you'll see here in the Northwest. But there's also a total of 5 schemes that we're working on across the UK. So we have Cumbria up in the north, we've got East Coast Hydrogen on the east, we've got Capital Hydrogen down here in London in the south, and we've also got the Hydrogen Valley in the Midlands. Alongside those, there's also National Gas, who operate the transmission throughout the UK. They've got a project called Project Union, and that's where they're looking to repurpose the natural gas transmission pipelines with hydrogen and hopefully link up all these different sectors in years to come. I guess what I was trying to show there is it shows that we are dedicated as an industry. We are dedicated to bring hydrogen, to the UK. So HyNet pipeline. So focus on HyNet over here in the Northwest. So we're looking to build and bring 100% hydrogen pipelines to the Northwest. All our hydrogen networks are all in the design phases. So routing corridors have been done. We know where the pipes need to go. We know where they need to be laid. Consultations with all the landowners have all been carried out, and we're in the process of creating and submitting our DCO, which is the Design and Consent Order. That's going to go to the Planning Inspectorate by early 2024, so we're thinking around March time 2024 for approval. Approval times on that, we're estimating around 12 to 15 months. So we're looking at phase 1 and phase 2 of HyNet, really sort of back end of 2027, 2028 onwards. There's also phase 3, which goes out to the wider, which you'll see in a minute, and we're looking at that one to go live around 2030. So the infrastructure here in the Northwest, so as I say, we've got underground pipelines all being laid to carry hydrogen, but also the CO2 emissions. So the CO2 emissions, we're looking to store those in old gas fields, as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. So we're looking to reutilise all the old gas fields off the coast of Liverpool to store the CO2. It's going to be a dedicated pipeline to carry the CO2 that actually industry in that area can also connect to and put some of their CO2 capture into that pipeline as well. All the hydrogen that's going to be produced is low carbon hydrogen. It fully meets the government's low carbon energy standard. It's going to be, as I say, it's going to be a brand new hydrogen pipeline in the hydrogen network, I should say, in the Northwest area. We've also got storage facilities, so we're looking to utilise the salt caverns. That's a tried and tested method for storage, just to make sure that we've got the hydrogen there as and when it's needed to meet demand. And we're looking to try and future-proof the network. So you'll see on here things like hydrogen for transport and things like that. We're trying to think ahead and plan for the future. So for the HyNet demand, we're estimating through we're the gas company, so we know how much gas gets used in this area. So based on that knowledge and through the conversations that we're having, we're estimating around a 30 terawatt a year usage of hydrogen. So, and that's what we're building the HyNet network on. So we're looking at 42-inch pipelines carrying between 44 and 75 bar that can be fluctuated. We're looking at phase 1 and phase 2, as I said, to go live around Q1 2028, phase 3 2030 onwards, and phase 1 and 2, they're really the backbone of our project. So phase 1 and phase 2, they're all the large industrial users around the sort of Ellesmere Port, Whitby kind of area, heading across towards Manchester, but that's really the backbone of the HyNet, and then from that we will then build onwards. So we're currently working on our final investment decision. It says Bays, but it's changed to DESNZ, but working with DESNZ and Ofgem and looking at the whole project from basically from production all the way to storage and the end consumer. That will enable us to secure the correct funding, make sure that the correct contracts are in place for the hydrogen production. And we're currently working with all the large users, all the large factories, industrial users in the northwest region to develop heads of terms, making sure that we're getting commitments from them for their usage, so we know that if we provide the hydrogen, they're going to use it. And as mentioned previously, the phase 2 pipeline, we're looking to go live around 2028, and you'll see it on the map there. So the green pipeline that you'll see, that is our phase 2 pipeline, so that's 2028 onwards. The red pipelines and the sort of the spurs coming off, that's all the phase 3, so that's where you're talking 2030 onwards. It's going to be a total of 125 kilometres pipeline carrying 100% hydrogen. These are a mixture of steel pipes and PE pipe or plastic pipes, if you like. As I say, you've got the green, which is the phase 2, so it's going from sort of St Helens down to Ellesmere Port and coming across to Manchester. Then the red section goes up as far as Preston, down towards Wrexham, and actually comes in and picks up Manchester. Once the network is completed, so from 2028 and 2030 onwards, we're looking at it to have it as a regulated asset, and connections will happen in very much the same way as they do now. So people will be able to connect into the network and introduce hydrogen. If you're a hydrogen producer, you can connect in and input more hydrogen. And also, if you're looking to be an off-taker and take off the hydrogen, you can just connect in and get a connection exactly the same as it works now, under the current gas rules. And I kind of said it's a whistle-stop tour. It is a whistle-stop tour, but what I'm showing you here is phase 2, phase 3, so our HyNet network, and what we've tried to do is take the hospitals, the large trusts within that area, and kind of plonk them on the map, so it will hopefully give you a bit of a visual representation of where these hospitals and trusts are in relation to the pipeline. There's 2 in particular that we've highlighted. So there's on the side Wiston and Warrington Hospital. They're the 2 that are closest to the phase 2 pipeline. So they're the 2 hospitals or trusts, if you like, that have the potential to take hydrogen from 2028 onwards. Everybody else, as you would see, you're talking 2030 onwards. And once the network's built, it'll just become a normal gas network, albeit a hydrogen network. But people, as I say, people will have to connect in and connect out. So depending on where your location is, and if it's viable, you could connect into any of those phase 2 or phase 3 pipelines. But as I say, it's very much a project that's been many years in the sort of planning and working, and we're at the stage now where we're just seeking final approvals, and the pipelines will start getting laid, and people can hopefully start taking hydrogen. And that is it, really. So it was a whistle-stop tour of the HyNet network. I guess, is there any questions? Oh God. Okay.
So in terms of scalability, what's the roadmap looking like for the rest of the UK?
So that's a good question. So at the start we had the 5 different sections. So the question was, what's the kind of the roadmap for the UK? we have all these projects. They're all in various sections. So HyNet is very much at the minute a standalone network, the same as East Coast Hydrogen. As I mentioned, National Gas are looking to repurpose the transmission pipeline to carry the hydrogen, and we envisage that is what is going to link up all these separate sections. In terms of timescales, I couldn't put a sort of a timeline to it, if I'm honest. So the questions around how do we deliver the hydrogen if you're not near a pipe? So there is various options. You've got we continue to deliver the natural gas, but there's also other options. There's other people here today that you can have an electrolyser on some land on by your hospital, and that can generate hydrogen. Using natural gas, it could make the hydrogen based using the natural gas, and then you can pipe that from your land into the hospital or whatever. So local production. That's until there's a hydrogen pipeline in your vicinity. If you're looking to use hydrogen, that's potentially one of the only solutions that you've got. As I say, the natural gas will still be there and will be there for a number of years to come, but ultimately that will phase out, and that won't phase out. We envisage our business and how we operate to be the same as it is now, but carrying hydrogen instead of natural gas. But obviously many years away.
Would you be using a different infrastructure for hydrogen, separate from natural gas, or is it the same pipeline?
It will be a mixture, so there will be a mixture of brand new pipelines. So the northwest is predominantly new pipelines and a new standalone network. Other sections will be potentially repurposing existing pipelines, but there will also be new pipelines laid as well. The cost for the actual hydrogen. So the cost for the actual hydrogen, you will pay no more for hydrogen than you will currently for natural gas. So that's a government-backed scheme where you will pay the existing natural gas price, and the hydrogen producer will get a contract for difference from the government, which will cover the gap if there is any. But not forgetting, you will also get your savings from your emission savings as well. You should be having so we're having conversations with Clive, then really sort of pushing the hydrogen through Clive, but you should be having these conversations, and by all means afterwards, come and get my details, and we'll be reaching out and having these conversations with you. So at the minute we're focusing on the green, which is the very, very large industrial users in the northwest, but we need to start having those conversations with yourselves to get your usage, to get your requirements, and there's a map not with the trusts on it. So there's maps. We have the equivalent of this map on the Cadent website, on the Net Zero website, but it won't have the trust on it. That's not in the public domain as of yet. Clive is. So Clive Natras is having those conversations with Warrington. I believe he's setting some road shows up as well, to sort of incorporate everybody else. That's it then. Thank you. Hopefully that didn't bore you too much, but no, thank you for your time.